Jupiter has finally released their airdrop checker, so you can now see what your allocation for the second ever Jupiter area will be. This, of course, has came with a lot of changes that people love and some people hate. So in this video, let's go over how much you can expect to get from your allocation, what Capstone Bull is, what the profile is, and every single thing else that's happening in the Jupiter universe. So the first thing we're going to go into is the actual allocation checker. So what this is that you can connect every single wallet you have that you think qualifies for the Jupiter airdrop and then see what your allocation is. Here, I'm getting whole band worth, so that's pretty good. The way that I see this is that it's free money. Like imagine your Capital One credit card, instead of giving you points, they gave you a dollar amount in those points every single year just for using it. So I'm okay with that. So I actually did qualify for tier 5. It's not that bad. Tier 1, of course, is 10 million when it comes to swap volume. I, of course, do not do that much volume. So if you're one of these top 4 categories, you probably get a pretty good cook here. This is around $2,500. This is around $4,000. This is around like $15,000. So this is great money that you got. And here below, you can see what exactly you did that made you qualify for this score. You could always, if you think you were marked incorrectly, whether you think you're a bot or a Sybil or you think you deserve more, there's an appeals process open for like 3 months. I wouldn't be like that and be like, I deserve more, look at how much volume I did. They even on the stream itself are talking, just because you did $1 billion of volume doesn't mean that you got $1 billion worth of tokens. The thing that they added this year that they did not have last year is that they have this Jupiterverse profile. So you can log in with your Gmail, with whatever, and you have this one account tied to all of your wallets. What they're planning to do with this is connect your one account to every single wallet, and this is your account that you can use for everything. So you can connect 15 to 20 different wallets here and see your total allocation. But of course, when the time comes to actually claim, you have to do it one by one, which is fine. Last year, what we saw was 955,000 different wallets were airdropped $1 billion in tokens. Their new view isn't just supposed to be a huge payout for farmers and for people that use airdrop. Their view is this is the second airdrop to expand the actual DAO and ecosystem. So last airdrop was probably much thicker than this one, and they are very, very vocal about the fact that this will not be as big as the first one. So, like I just spoke of before about Good Cats, Good Cats is an entirely different part of this airdrop, where if you did some sort of significant contribution to the Jupiterverse, you deserve or will get, hopefully, a different allocation of more Jupiter. So here you can see the eligibility is impactful and consistent throughout the year contributions to the platform. And maybe you're a content creator, maybe you onboarded a business into Jupiter, maybe you did some sort of help in the back end, whatever it may be. If you think that you did a significant contribution to Jupiter, fill out this form and you might get even more money. I filled out this form, hopefully I get something for content creators, but even I don't know if I'm gonna get anything. And this form is open until February. So this is not happening at the same time that the Jupiter actual airdrop is happening, which is hopefully next week. This won't be before Capstone Bull, which is at the end of January. This will be in sometime February. Now that we've gone over how to check your allocation, what good cats are, and how to apply for that, let's go over the actual qualifications of this year's airdrop. This has some very, very different qualifications than the initial years. So the qualifications were pretty simple, even if you didn't agree with them. It wasn't just based on volume, meaning if you did $1 billion in volume in swaps or whatever on Jupiter, you didn't get $1 billion worth of tokens. Transactions had to be more than $5 to be counted. This, I think, makes sense because Solana has a lot of bots because of how cheap everything is. So you could theoretically run a bot for 10,000 transactions a day just doing 0.001 SOL on whatever and then hope for a fat payout. Also said stablecoins and SOL to SOL swapping were heavily discounted, meaning if again you had a bot running and it was like here's 10,000 USDC for the next year, just swap 10,000 USDC to SOL and back, those transactions weren't counted either. Smaller users were supposed to be more preferred over whales, which I think is interesting because according to their statistics, they said that 1% of users accounted for 97 or 96% of total swap volume. So the majority of swap volume was done by the elite 1%. So should they get more money? Do they deserve more money for accounting for this much swap volume? Or is it if we give this 1% all this money, then the 99 other percent, they're not gonna get that much. So the route that they chose was to prefer the smaller users over the big whales, even though they accounted for the majority of the swap volume. Another thing that I thought was pretty cool is 8 Pro traders actually qualified for this too. So if you use their trading bot 8 Pro, you got an airdrop as well. So not just based on volume, transactions had to be more than $5. Stablecoin or SOL to SOL swaps did not count. Smaller users were preferred over whales. Claiming will be done manually from the profile, and 8 Pro traders were counted in this as well. Another part of the Jupiter universe is staking. So as you know, you can stake your Jupiter, and then you can use that Jupiter in the DAO to vote on stuff. I think there was like 14 to 20 votes in the past year that if you did any sort of voting on, whether it was the good or bad vote, you qualified for an airdrop for Jupiter and whatever tokens they were launching. A couple tokens that launched through the Jupiter launchpad, like Cloud and like Zeus and a couple of others. So if you voted, you got that allocation. And then ideally later on, you get an allocation for voting. So that's called ASR, something actual staking rewards. I don't even know what it stands for. But the way that they're doing this is that is the average of your stakes since holding. So if you unstake stuff, if you had more staked, if you had staked less, it takes 30 days to, of course, get it out, but it's the average of your stake. They did 2 snapshots every single month and taking an average of that for your reward. And ASR isn't going to be at the same time as Jupiter next week. It's going to be in February. And the votes that counted were the votes done from October 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. So if you'd voted before or after that, they do not count for this year's airdrop. In addition to that, they have an allocation of Jupiter, 200 million Jupiter set aside called carrots, and those are for users who claim, stake, and vote using the Jupiter app. Again, the Jupiter app is something that they're really trying to push forward. I have a ref below if you're trying to use it. And it's basically like a wallet for all things Jupiter. Do all the things you do on Phantom in there. With this push, they have $100,000 in prizes that you can refer other people to. So if you refer other people or if you're referred to the app, you could have a chance of winning something of that $100,000.